Hi guys, today I thought we could have a bit of fun with a couple of classic characters. So let's get started with a character known as the Mimic. Essentially, to recreate the Mimic, I used what's it called again? The Tech Ninja gloves to mimic Wolverine's claws, of course. But also I used the flex suit to mimic somewhat Colossus skin metal. Essentially, the Mimic started as a character that could copy the powers of the original X-Men, like Cyclops' eye beam and Beast's agility and Angel's wings, stuff like that. But eventually, it evolved into a character that could copy the powers of other X-Men later on, like Colossus or Wolverine or others I failed to mention. So I wasn't really able to recreate the actual look of the character, but I was able to come up with something that sort of sells the idea of the character. Like we can pretty much tell that this is supposed to be Wolverine's claws and Colossus's armor uh, mixed matched together. But although we probably could go with the actual original look of the character, like this is pretty much how the character started, and we can even mimic the I beam. So that's sort of how the character pretty much started. I have to admit, I don't usually complain about the look of Silver Age characters, but this one, let's say this is not a winner. So I was essentially he's like a beige character with a big reddish M on his chest, although it looks pretty much like orange. But anyways, I wasn't able to reproduce it properly. This is pretty much as close as I could get, but it sort of sells the idea of the character. So essentially, you can you can see like the Cyclops powers with the eye beam and the Angel powers with the wings. So obviously, I wasn't able to give him big feet and big hands to be like the Beast, but you get the idea. And it's a character that it's a look that you can pretty much recreate from the start of the game. Although this is the hawk wings that you get a bit later, but you could use the small bird wings to get this effect early on if you wanted to. And later down the line, the Mimic had a more, I would say, I kind of like this look. I was a bit surprised when I did a bit of research to try and figure out how the character had evolved through the years. There was a look that sort of kind of looked like that. And I have to admit, I kind of like it. It's a fairly good look. And it's fairly easy to reproduce if people want to try and get that look. And essentially, I combined this character with this video with another character known as the Supreme or the Super Adaptoid. Oh, wrong one. Oh, let's use this right here. Not ready yet, of course. So essentially, the Super Adaptoid was not unlike the Mimic. The Super Adaptoid could copy the powers of the Avengers. So where Mimic could copy the powers of Cyclops and Angel, the Super Adaptoid could copy the powers of the Wasp, of Captain America, of Hawkeye. Although Hawkeye doesn't have any powers, but he could copy his abilities, you could say. And this is, I'm sure, I was surprised to see how close you can actually get to the look of the Super Adaptoid. This is pretty close. It's missing maybe the stripes for the Captain America around the waist, but other than that, it's a fairly close interpretation of the character. And the way this character evolved with time, the last time I saw this character in comics, he pretty much was which one? Of course, I took the wrong one. the last time I saw the character, he pretty much turned like this, like he was a pretty much all silver character, which is fairly easy to emulate if you get the what skin did I use again? Oh, wrong one. I think it's the crystalline scale skin. Let's make sure. Yeah, it's the crystalline scale. So you use the crystalline skin, make it gray, and you pretty much end up with something kind of like the Supreme Adaptoid. I guess you could try and I wasn't able to get the blank eye. Like the character is pretty much has no face essentially, since he can pretty much become anyone he wants. Although there were a few incarnations where they actually did give the silver version a face. So and that would kind of work, I suppose. And even the briefs actually were part of the design where the character had lines essentially around the waist and the legs that sort of mimicked briefs, but it probably wasn't briefs. It was just the interpretation, the way the artist was drawing the character. But I have to admit, I was really surprised at how close you could get to recreating the mimic, but even worse at how close you could get to reproducing the super adaptoid. And that's pretty much it. So that was Flash Fact for today. So hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.